Hey guys, my name is Jameson from Ryobi Engineer, and today we're going to be building a simple side table made from one 2x4, one 2x2, and one 1x10 by 4 foot long board. Let's get started. Now the 2x10 by 4 foot long board is going to be cut down into 22-inch pieces, and that is going to make up our top. Now we need to take the 2x2 and cut that down into pieces at 45 degrees at each end. One piece is going to be 13 3/8 of an inch long, and the other piece is going to be 10 3/8 of an inch long. Now the 2x2 is going to get cut down into 4 pieces and 45 at each end, and that is going to make up, that's what's going to connect all the legs together, so then we can connect that to the top. So I know what some of you might be thinking, I don't have a miter saw, how am I going to make an 8-degree cut? However, if you have access to a speed square, or you can go buy one for $5 to 10 bucks, or even less, those little orange plastic ones are like a couple bucks. You can find that 8-degree, mark it, and then cut it with your circular saw if you have one of those, or a handsaw. Okay, so this is a $4 to $5 speed square that I found laying around. And along the 45-degree edge, you're gonna see measurements. They might be a little hard to see because all of these are kind of blending in, but you can see right there, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15, 20, 25. So we need an 8-degree cut. So what you're gonna do, I'll just go ahead and mark this so you guys at home can see a little bit better. So I've got 8 degrees right there. Right here is the end of my cut, where my cut needs to be made. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line that up, and then I am going to pivot this over until that line, that 8-degree mark, lines up with the edge of the board. And then I can come over here and I can strike that line, and we've got a nice 8-degree cut right there. Okay, so we've got our legs here, and they're gonna stand up on an angle. However, in order to add a little bit more interest, I'm going to cut another angle. So what we're gonna do, if this is the outside of our leg, we're gonna measure in 1.5 inches from the point, and then I'm gonna make a mark there, and then I'm gonna measure down 1.5 inches from the top, make a mark there, and then I'm gonna take my straight edge, and I'm gonna connect those two marks, and that will be our cut line. After I get all of these marked, I'll come back with my circular saw and make those cuts. Now when you're making this cut, you're gonna wanna make sure that the workpiece is clamped in the fashion that your actual, your good side, the side that you're keeping, the actual leg, is gonna be clamped to the work surface, and the cutaway, the waist side, will fall away from your cut. So I've got my circular saw here. I'm actually gonna start my cut down here at the foot and work my way up there. Otherwise this blade would wanna drift as I'm coming into that tight angle. So I'm gonna cut this, and this work piece, or this waist piece, will fall away. Okay, so we've got all of our boards cut and sanded, and we're ready to start assembling. So when it comes to assembling anything wood related, we call this joining or joinery. And there's many different methods to join pieces of wood together. However, today we're gonna be focusing on, since this is a beginner project, we're gonna be focusing on one of the easier methods, which is pocket holes. Now, pocket holes are an angled hole, or a pilot hole rather, that allows you to screw through and join two boards together. It's perfect for tabletops like this, where you're joining two boards. This is what we call a butt joint. Two boards together like that, so we can screw through on an angle and hide those pocket holes on the bottom side of our tabletop. So this is the Craig pocket hole jig. This is the new Craig pocket hole jig, and we're gonna be using that to drill those pocket holes. Now, before I move on to the next step, I want to take a second to thank our sponsor for this project, Ryobi Tools. Now, I have always been a big advocate for Ryobi, and the reason being is that if you're going to invest in a battery-powered tool, why not invest in a brand that has over 175 tools supporting that battery system? So The nice thing about Ryobi is they're constantly coming out with new stuff. They've got tools for in the workshop as well as in and around the house. And the newest addition to the line of tools that they offer is the Ryobi HP tools. Now, HP stands for high performance, and they've got all kinds of stuff like circular saws, impact driver, as well as a drill, and a bunch of other tools. So if you want to learn more about the newest, latest, and greatest tools from Ryobi, make sure you check out ryobitools.com. All right, so now with the pocket holes drilled, we can move on to actually installing or assembling these pieces. Now, I'm gonna take the tabletop and I'm going to glue that joint, and then we're gonna clamp it so it stays nice and even, and then I'm gonna use 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws to screw that together. That glue combined with the screws will be more than enough strength to hold those two boards together for this tabletop. Then I'm going to switch over to assembling the base. Now the base is going to be made out of these 2x2s and the legs, and we are going to attach those together with 2 1/2 inch pocket hole screws. Once we get all that together, then we can move on to the final assembly, which will be attaching the base to the top. Now, assembling this thing is proving to be a little bit more challenging than I had anticipated. So I brought my little helper friend over here, this 18 gauge brad nailer, and I'm going to use this to put this base together just kind of temporarily before I screw it together. So I'm going to come in here. Now notice that the pocket holes are facing down, and I'm just going to tack this in place with 2-inch brad nails, and that is going to hold this together so that I can flip it over and screw it together with the 2 1/2 inch pocket holes. Now I can take the base, flip it over, and set it on the bottom side of the tabletop. I'm going to measure to make sure that the base is centered on the top. And then I'm going to screw it down with 2-inch wood screws. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that it was definitely a simple project geared towards the beginner woodworker. However, I wanted to show you that a basic design, just as 4 legs and a top, can be modified to look like something a lot nicer just by adding those angles and tapered cuts. If you want the full plans for this project, make sure you click on that button right there. That's gonna take you on over to the website. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do so right there and click that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future projects. Until next time, be safe and happy building.